up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg, which saw a thrilling 4-4 draw, but could have went the other side for Barcelona if the right decisions were made during the game. We're going to discuss that, of course, discuss some of the team's performances, analyze some players' individual performances and the team performance as well, discuss what the manager and some of the players said after the match as well, alongside, of course, coinciding with 5 key things that we did learn from this match. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, the first thing that we learned from this match is yet again Barcelona failing to be effective in the final third, with of course the chance creations being in play and us not converting chances that we do create when they're of course clear cut. You can see here the SofaScore rating for the starting 11 for this match. Again, the fullbacks and the center 2 players playing quite average to poor, with the core of the team, the midfield, the wingers, and the 2 center backs, of course, having a good performance. And if you look at the average positioning for the players, this is the first time we've seen this season. Look how fucking high that line is. Cubarsí touching basically the Atletico Madrid half. You have Balde and Iñigo touching it as well. Usually the line, I would say, is just around that half circle just behind that, so it's higher than it is. And if you look at it actually at halftime, the whole entire team is in the half of Atletico Madrid, which just shows how much risky football that we did play to, of course, no effect, unfortunately, based on the score. Now, if you take a look at some of the stats from this match, we do have 67% of the possession for Barcelona, 7 big chances created, 16 shots, 3 goalkeeper saves, 8 corners, 12 fouls, 680 passes attempted, 15 tackles, 10 free kicks, and 0 yellow cards. The shot map is in the middle there for you. 16 shots, 9 on target, 4 off target, 10 inside the box, and 6 outside the box. You can see, of course, the zones of where those shots were coming in from, mainly, of course, in that center of the 12-yard line, somewhere around there. On the right-hand side, you can see 4 big chances were scored in this game for Barcelona, but 3 were missed, and those 3, now look at the score line in the end, are one of the factors on why we did not walk away with the result. 1 through ball, 44 touches in the penalty area, 3 fouls in the final third as well. The issue for me, of course, I do want to highlight in this section is the chances missed yet again, and it's so frustrating to see because it's such a consistent factor for Barcelona this season, where you create chances but you fail to score. I don't know what 3 that SofaScore registered as the big chances missed, but off the top of my head, you have the 2 for Ferran, the 1 for Lua. So those are probably the 3 that were the big chances that were missed, especially when they're point blank as well. Ferran 1v1, second one he was 1v1 around the keeper, didn't put enough shot power. Lua's one was probably the hardest one, but again, on the open foot, he should be scoring that as one of the best poachers in the world of football that we've ever seen. Now here's a crazy one. You can see here the heat conversion of where the play was spent mostly in this game. 41% was spent in the middle of the park, 45% in the Atletico Madrid final third, compared to 14% in the Barcelona final third. So the ball, the whole entire 90 minutes, only 14% of the game was the ball spent in Barcelona's final third, and we still conceded 4 goals. That is disgusting. 601 accurate passes, 17 throw-ins, 79 final third entries. Final third entries, of course, 79% success rate, 53% success rate on our long balls, 15% on the crosses. That's very poor. 50% in our duels, 49% in the ground, 55% in the air, 50% of our dribbles completed, with 87% tackles being successful in this game. So from these stats, again, the duels and the aerial duels are quite generous. What we've seen, the ones that have cost us aerially were the ones that led to goals. But again, the fact that the ball was spent only 14% in Barcelona's final third and we still conceded 4 goals is the main problem with this team. Against teams that go toe-to-toe with us, we seem to collapse. And again, Atletico Madrid did not go toe-to-toe with us in this game, but they went toe-to-toe with us in spells. First 10 minutes, last 10 minutes is where they went for it. They scored 2 goals in that opening 10 minutes. They scored 2 goals in those last 10 minutes because they were going for it, and we just were caught blindly. And again, that's the issue is that this has happened for the second time this season. Of course, not the first 10, but the last 10 at the Montjuic in December. They went for it in the last 10 minutes and they got what they deserved. The same thing happened in this game It's two similar situations that Barcelona, not only the players, but also the coaching staff, failed to nullify. The second thing that we learned from this game is yet again Flick is not taking responsibility when he is the forefront of the mistake, and again deflecting blame. We have here the post-match quotes following the game. I do want to discuss the players' reactions to the game because I think it's actually very positive. And on the bright side, looking into the second leg, we have I think Kubarsi, Pedri, De Jong, and Iñigo speaking after the game. Firstly, Pedri came out saying that when you're 4-2 up and they equalize, it's complicated. It happened to us in La Liga, and now it's happened again. We have to learn from this. We have to analyze what we did wrong and fix it for the next round. Atletico scored two quick goals in the first minute. I think we reacted quickly to come back, and that's of course good news. I think we kept our playing well for around 70 minutes. Our best levels were unstoppable. Let's keep going. Beautiful things are coming. Flick saying that I'm like a captain. That's what Flick tells me, but I'm not interested in that. I only care about the team winning. We're going for the win in the second leg. We have full confidence in the team. It's going to be tough, but we'll give our best, and that's for sure. Frankie came out saying that we are disappointed. We were winning 4-2 and ended 4-4. Atletico Madrid has a great team. Against those teams, any mistakes can be dangerous. We're still alive in the competition, of course. It was a beautiful match, and we have something to learn from. We want to stay with the positive part of the match. Kubarsi talked about conceding twice in the first few minutes. It was a lack of concentration. This can't happen. We're mad, but now we're going to go to their stadium. We'll do everything to give the Culés happiness. So again, they recognize the mistake, they give themselves the constructive criticism, but also highlight the fact that, look, we played well, and we'll use that as motivation for the second leg. Again, the disappointing factor, Kubarsi mentioned there, lack of concentration in the first 10 minutes. I mean, you're in a semi-final against Atletico Madrid. Why are you not concentrated from the first second? Right as you walk out, you should be locked the fuck in. This is the stuff that pisses me off, right? I understand he's young. Hopefully he'll grow from it. Again, he made up with his goals, so I can't really go in too much on him. But again, I like the players realizing the mistake, giving themselves the criticism, and hopefully giving a resolution in the second leg. We also have some quotes here from Iñigo as well. Firstly, Frankie said in his second part, saying that everything except the first and the last 10 minutes were good, but we can be happy that we played well for 75 minutes. Now, Iñigo came out with, keeping it really 100. He said that the last part of the game was not good at all. We gave up possession, and we can't let that happen. Why did I give up possession? Because Flick subbed off Pedri. Maybe in the last part of the match, we should have kept the defensive line more back, but I don't think that was the reason for the draw. My goal is worthless if the goal isn't against us later. I have complete confidence in the team, and I know that we are capable of anything. We must not point fingers at anyone, because we win and we concede as a team. A match like this should have ended 6-2 in our favor, but it actually ended 4-4, and that's why we're disappointed. Spot on there. Let's not go crazy with the result. We proved that we were better, way better. We have scored more goals as well. We lost a little concentration, and they scored the third goal. Again, you're in a Copa del Rey semi-final. How can you not lock in for 90 minutes? What are you, fucking Aaron Ramsey? You gotta go freaking look at butterflies and shit to reconcentrate? Lock in. You're at the Montjuic. You know you need a result going into the second leg away from home. How are you losing concentration in the middle of the game? It baffles me. After that, they had momentum and everything goes their way. I don't care if I scored. I'm a defender. My job is to stop them from conceding. We failed and we conceded 4 goals, and that's very clear. The reality, whether you see it or not, is that we saw how good Barcelona were today, and Barcelona is that is way better than Atletico. So we had some realism here from Iñigo saying that, look, should have won this game 6-2. Us conceding where it was embarrassing, but us going forward, we looked great. We know that we're the better team, we're the better side, and hopefully we can resolve that for the second leg. Talking about the highline as well, saying that it should have been maybe a bit more deeper, as it was high, like I showed you in the average positioning in the first section. But the reality is that is the style, and that's not the reason why we conceded the 2 goals. And he's spot on. The reason why we conceded 2 goals is that we didn't have any aerial threat. We lost midfield control, and we had nobody in the midfield to win balls back. So it's quite clear. Now let's get into what Flick said. Now the Flick quotes, they do really piss me off, but let's discuss it. So Flick came out saying that football is sometimes unbelievable. We scored 4 goals, but they also scored 4. We have to analyze what we did well and what we did wrong. Okay, we played a great game today. We created many chances, but we were facing a great team. Okay, I'm disappointed. We played good football, but they have a good team and a good defense and good attack. I want to highlight the positive parts of the match, the way we came back, the way we played football, the way we dominated at some point. It was really great for sure. We will fight and we will never give up. I feel like we have a chance to win in the second leg. Okay, we haven't given up yet. We talked about the goals we conceded. I'm proud of my team, but I have to talk about the goals that we conceded. It's not easy to describe this match. We're disappointed with the result, but it was a good game. I want to stick to the positive parts, and I want my players to maintain their confidence and also keep at a high level. So again, pretty content there. I'll let that slide. We faced a really strong team. Just look at their attack. They bought 3 new strikers. Who gives a fuck? The Copa del Rey is important. Everyone likes it. We saw it today. Let's try to find solutions. We defended well, very well for 75 minutes. We have to talk about the 4th goal and learn from what happened. Our defense failed in the last 5 to 10 minutes. The 4th goal is incredible to me. We have to talk about it. I think the fans enjoy how we play, and I have positive feelings. We have to work more in the last minutes. We are a very young team, and they scored 4 goals against us, way too many. Again, this young team gimmick is starting to trigger the goddamn life of me. We've been a young team now for how long? 4 or 5 years now. At some point, you have to grow the fuck up. When are we gonna grow up? Oh, we're gonna be a young team every single year. I understand Lamine is 17, Kubarsy is 18, Balde is 21, Pedri is 22. I understand that, but they've now been part of the core of Barcelona for the last 4 or 5 years. They've matured. This young team gimmick, I think, is way overused, not only by Flick, but by Xavi and also by Ronald Koeman as well. My players have to realize how good they are, even at such a young age. Our focus is on the future, and we have a positive outlook. Fuck the future, man. We want to win now. What are we playing now for? You're just playing now just for vibes and stuff? You have to be successful now. We're on course for a treble now, and in a game where you managerially screwed us up, you're talking about the future. I think that is, poor in my opinion. I'm satisfied with almost everything. The team's mentality is great, but we need to work on small details, and we will do that. Pedri's indescribable. You can clearly see how much he enjoys playing football. When he's on the pitch in training, you can see it. His performances have been amazing. Before the match, I told the team that we should not make individual mistakes, and their goals come from that way. He's right there, of course. First goal was on Kubarsy and maybe even Pedri for the man marking. Second goal is all on Kounde. Third goal, what was the third goal? I think that's pretty actually well worked by Atletico. And then, of course, the 4th goal comes in from the high line, so whoever kept them onside. I still haven't seen the replay yet of that goal. Our reaction was good, but I'm disappointed with the last 10 minutes of the game. Alexander Balde has proved a lot this season. Pau, Pedri, and Frankie as well. I can't forget the performance of Raphinha and Lamine this season. It's great to have players like them. Atletico put out a lot of pressure in the last 10 minutes, especially after the changes they made. We lack confidence on the ball, and we can deal with that better. We always want to attack and score goals, but sometimes it's better to control the ball. Oh my god. He said this after Leganes. He said this after Las Palmas. He even said this after the Atletico Madrid game. I mean, it's the same thing. How are these errors not being rectified? Also, we talked about we lacked confidence on the ball. Why? Because you took off the best ball controller in Pedri. You subbed off Pedri against Las Palmas to rest him. Okay, sure. Why are you subbing off Pedri in this game? We have 4 days rest before Sunday's game against Sociedad. He's already had some rest beforehand. Why are you subbing off Pedri? That is my question. Perhaps we suffered so much in the last 10 minutes because we used all of our energy after conceding the first 2 goals. No, that's not true whatsoever. We brought in some players to stabilize the defense, but we conceded 4 goals and we had to accept that. You brought in no one to stabilize the defense. You brought in a center back in midfield, a midfielder on the wing. You brought on a striker for a striker, and then an attacking midfielder for a midfielder. What defensive sub was there? What defensive, shape were you trying to make there? Stabilize the defense, my ass. The 4th goal bothered me so much because we did not press the ball well. We came out wrong. That's not what I want. Okay, that's a fair criticism from him. We're such a young team. Fuck off, and we have to learn from this. Blah, blah, blah. Lewis scored an important goal for us today, but Ferran played well against Betis and Valencia. He scored goals and deserved to start. I'll get into that later, but again, from Flick here, a lot of deflection, despite the fact that he is the main consequence for Barcelona not walking away from this match with a win. Now, the third thing that we learned from this match is the worriness of how Flick is disgustingly poor in game management. And this has been a problem throughout the whole entire season, but today I think it's the first time where it actually cost us a result. In this game, Flick had multiple opportunities to make substitutions to not only impact the team, but also provide freshness. Atletico Madrid made all 5 of their subs before the 70th minute. By then, Flick has only made 2 changes. So Atletico Madrid had basically changed 40% of their team with full of freshness, and to be honest, I think Simeone's subs were spot on, exactly the same points that they needed. I was quite surprised by the Griezmann sub, but in the end it worked out fantastically well for them. But I think Simeone's subs were bang on for the weaker players, the weak points, and to exploit Barcelona, and Flick could not respond. He responded with Ferran on the left, Eric Garcia in midfield, Gavi in midfield, and Lewandowski up front. Kept that exact defense the same. What did I say in the first point? Aerially, Barcelona were shocking in this game. The fact that Flick did not bring just one of Araujo and Casado is blasphemy. Also, by the way, Flick only used 4 out of his 5 substitutions. We complain about squad depth, we complain about not having a full squad to go through the season, where now we're in a very good place where we can, but the manager isn't using it. I tweeted 5,000 fucking times during the game, an hour before the game. If Sørloth comes in, the first thing you do to respond to that is bring on Araujo. The only good thing that Araujo has, the reason why he's on 300,000 euros a week, is because 1v1 defending in the air, he's one of the best in the world. On the ball, in possession, holding the line, positionally, lots of room for improvement, and that's why he didn't start the game correctly so. But off the bench, this is the best move for him. This could be his role maybe going forward, apart from, of course, starting other games like against Sociedad, Osasuna, kind of those mid games where he can provide some rotation. It was imperative to bring on Araujo. He failed to do so. What did Flick mention in his post-match press conference? Failing to control the midfield tempo, failing to control the ball in the midfield. Brings on Casado instead of Eric Garcia in the pivot. Casado does bring you that. Casado dropped a man-of-the-match performance not even 48 hours ago in Gran Canaria against Las Palmas, but he'd rather bring on Eric Garcia, who is not playing the pivot for about a month and a half ahead of him. Where is the logic for that? Those two changes for me, I think if he brought on Araujo or Casado around the 80th minute, game changer. But here's the part that pissed me off. Should have brought them on the hour mark. On the hour mark, this game was crying out for both of these players. Both of them. We did not even see one of them. That for me is where everything went wrong. And we talked a lot about this under Xavi, where Xavi in his first year or so, his in-game management in terms of substitutions, providing a good width, providing good changes was a concern. And to be fair to Xavi, he improved upon that. Where Flick is being as stubborn as it can be. Bitches and moans about the squad not being full of depth, leaving Pablo Torre, Christensen, and Ansu Fati in the stands. But when the going is tough into game and you finally have some options off the bench that can make a difference in the game, you decide to keep them on the bench. Why? Why? I think also subbing off Pedri was also a big mistake. I think subbing off Pedri and not bringing on just one of Araujo or Casado was the reason why we lost this game. And hopefully Flick realizes this and just maybe doesn't want to out himself in the media, because these changes need to be resolved, or else in the future games to come, we have 2 more games against Atletico, we have a Clásico left, Champions League. These situations, these in-game management issues will cost us dramatically, so best to resolve it beforehand. Now, the fourth thing that we learned from this game is the role of Ferran Torres in the squad being as clear as can be. He's a role player. Someone in my live stream said it best. I think his name started with like a T, but it had like 98 in it. Ferran Torres is a super sub and not a starter. That is the role of Ferran, coming off the bench when teams are tired, where he can exploit some space, run in behind, when he's relied upon from the beginning of the game in bigger games. I know he got a hat-trick against Valencia, but Valencia, look where they are in La Liga. In the medium to bigger games, Ferran Torres isn't cut out for it. And we saw it again today. Two 1v1s missed. 1v1s. He shot the first one from outside the 18-yard box. Could have rounded the keeper, could have chipped the keeper, could have went between his legs. Now let me shoot early on. Second one, rounds the keeper, open net, scuffs the shot. Hold-up play from him was abysmal. I will say this, Lewandowski's hold-up play over the past 2 games has been poor, but his poor hold-up play in those past 2 games were better than Ferran Torres' hold-up play in this game. Disgustingly poor. Occupying the space between the center backs, abysmal. Jimenez and fucking Lenglet were bullying the hell out of him. He is not cut out to start the bigger games. I'd much rather start Lua for an hour, let him rough up the center backs, get baby a bit tired, and then bring on a fresh Ferran Torres against a tired defense. That is where Ferran Torres is impactful. All his goals this season, apart from his hat-trick against Valencia, have come off the bench. Dortmund, even the Valladolid 7-0 he scored off the bench. Betis and the Benito Villamarín off the bench. All his goals are off the bench. Why? Because again, against the tired defense, he can exploit the spaces. That is his role. Do not take away from that role. He should have started, this weekend against Sociedad ahead of this, instead of this game. That was clear from the get-go. But again, Flick deciding form. Oh, he scored a last-second goal against Las Palmas. That earned him enough to start against Atletico Madrid the next week. I think also Flick's management in terms of what makes a player start and what necessarily drops a player is pathetic as well. Drops Inaki Peña for being late, and then Chelsea plays well. Chelsea stays in. Kounde's late about 5,000 times, but always starts the next game and always comes off the bench as well. What's the point of that? His role in determining what players on form, what players not form, is also not that great. But again, when it comes to Ferran Torres, his role is quite clear. Off the bench, impactful sub, starting against maybe the lesser teams, but starting big games, he is not cut out for it and has been consistently shown as such this season. And the fifth and final thing that we learned from this match is the form of Kounde up and down like a freaking roller coaster. Ever since he got dropped against Vallecano for being late, he's been absolutely all over the place. I think in this match, he is I think he's probably one of 5 factors into why we drew this game. I think mainly Flick, the substitutions from Flick, the finishing from Lua and Ferran, and then Kounde comes after. The pass for Frankie was suicidal. Defensively was getting cooked. I mean, how are you one of the best defensive right backs in the world in a semi-final of a Copa del Rey game, and that's when you decide to drop your worst performance of the season? I have no doubt Kounde will rise from this moment, but mid against Las Palmas, didn't start against Vallecano, shit today. There has to be some sort of concerns. And then that brings up the question of using his replacement on the bench in Hector Fort, where Hector Fort last season dropped 2 masterclasses against Atletico Madrid, one at home and the other at the Metropolitano Stadium. But yet, isn't relied upon, isn't even being given a look in for this game. When you have your current right back dipping in and out of form, maybe needs a bit of a reality check off the bench. We saw Hector Fort at the Metropolitano drop an absolute masterclass in that 3-0 win last season, pocketing the likes of Griezmann and who was Griezmann up front with? Was it Memphis? I think it was Memphis Depay. Controlling them at his age, at left back on his weaker side, and isn't even given a look in for this game. Kounde is getting cooked and rinsed. Did not decide to bring him on whatsoever. Now let me bring Fermin Lopez on the wing. Let me put Eric Garcia in midfield for the first time in a month and a half. Clueless. But of course, it comes down to Kounde himself not performing, and he needs to, he needs a bit of a reality check. How that reality check happens to him, whether it's a fan criticism, him being dropped, that's up to himself and to the management as well. But if his form does not pick up and he keeps on, dropping mid performances and, inconsistency, teams will find that out. When Simeone made that double change on the left hand side, taking out Galan and Simeone for Renildo and Lino, that changed the game. Because 2 fresh players coming up against a weak Kounde in this game, and they exploited it. All their goals, the Llorente goal, the third one, came from the left-hand side. The winner came from the left-hand side as well. Second goal, came from that side. All on the side of Kounde, where he wasn't up to scratch tonight, and he is one of the main faults of this result, and he needs to improve dramatically in order to bring more stability to that right-back position. So that's a match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss, alongside the 5 key things that I did mention that we learned from this game. I know the draw isn't the worst result in the world, but it's in the manner and the way that the draw came about. But again, all to play for in the second leg come, I believe, the first week of April, so we'll wait and see how it fares then. But I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.